Welcome back to Origami Snowman. My name is Matt. More Elantris today. I have arrived at part two. At part two of Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. For those of you following along, I am now officially more than halfway through. Elantris is it's going very, very well, and all the stuff that I said in the last one about like the political parallels still going on. All that stuff is all good and well. Sareen, the Princess Sareen, she's awesome. I think she's great. She's really good at just being obnoxiously manipulative, but like not in like a bad way. You know, she gets everybody riled up, and then she kind of not tricks them. She maneuvers them into the position that she can best benefit from that. You know what? The more I talk about her, the worse she sounds. She's actually delightful. One thing Brandon Sanderson is really good at doing is he never lets you really forget that his characters have feelings and that they're more than their victories and their failures. So the bad guys aren't all bad. The good guys aren't all good. The stoic princess, she has feelings. She has some self-esteem issues. She has some body positivity issues. She has some self-worth issues. She's a very relatable character. I love that. I love it. Raoden, he is less relatable because he immediately resigned himself to his situation. Not in a way that he just sort of threw his hands up and said, I guess this is it forever and ever. But no, he said, oh, this is my new situation? Awesome. Let's see about making it better. It's interesting. I just find him less relatable than Sareen. But Hrathen, I don't find him relatable at all, but I find him fascinating. This priest who is on the surface, he's very sure of himself. He is very passionate, very driven by his faith. But then you dig a little deeper and he has a lot of doubt, and he's struggling with his doubt. And the very last action that takes place in part one is Hrathen, and it was kind of a Hail Mary pass, if you will. And I don't know where it's going to lead. I have ideas where it's going to lead, but it's him knowingly drinking poison, just throwing it back. And that's how book one or part one of this book ends. And that's so fun. It's such a fun cliffhanger kind of moment. Like me, I would have ended the book there. I totally would have been like, all right, you know what? You want to know how it ends? Buy another book. That's what I would have done. However, book two, or part two, I should say, there's not quite enough content here to, you know what, there's enough content here to make another book, but I feel like Brandon Sanderson would have had to pad it out for like another 100 pages or so. But it's going very well. Raoden and Sareen did finally meet. She doesn't know who he is. She has not figured that out. No one has figured that out. Nobody knows who he is. He knows who she is, and he's actually, without telling her who he is, he has, he's managed to get on her good side, much to her chagrin. She doesn't want to think highly of him. She is still believing a lot of the rumors that she has heard about Elantrians. She's still inclined to believe that this guy, he's a gang leader, he's manipulating her, he's stealing the food for his own people instead of letting it be equally distributed. She's ready to think the worst of him. However, he is so charming, and he's so helpful, and he's so authentic, and he seems so genuine that in spite of herself, she is finding herself slowly, regrettably won over, which is great. But I wouldn't say it's a classic romance, but it's fun to watch. So anyway, Elantris, finally, I got to the end of part one last night and found myself bummed out because I thought this is a great stopping point. I don't want to move forward until I have a chance to make a video. and then I had to sit and I had to wait. And then today I had to take a book with me to work, and I couldn't take Elantris because I didn't want to push on ahead into part 2 yet until I had a chance to talk. So it's going very well. I'm having a great time with it. They did find the old Elantrian, the former resident who was like. So the story is there was this city, Elantris, and the people who lived there were they were basically gods. They could create food out of nothing. They could literally take a stone and turn it into a loaf of bread. They could heal things. They had these incredible powers, and they were very benevolent. They helped anyone who came and asked for help. The city was like just absolutely beautiful, and the Elantrians, the residents of Elantris, they were also beautiful. But 10 years before the beginning of this story, something happened. Something changed. And the people who were blessed, as the Elantrians were blessed, it was almost like a disease that came upon them. They would wake up and find that I am now an Elantrian. It was it could take anybody at any time. Well, it was no longer a blessing. It has become a curse. And they seem almost like zombies, where their hair is falling out. They don't heal from cuts. In fact, if you get a cut, not only does it not heal, it never stops hurting, ever. You're constantly hungry. You are. There's just nothing. There's nothing for you to do. There's no purpose. There's no task. Nothing that you can do. You're just. It's almost like you're in that final stage, that literal final nanosecond before death, and you're left hanging. And so these people are miserable, and they're believed to be cursed and believed to be damned. And so the outside people, they treat them that way. They lock them in the city. They don't help them. They don't support them. They stay away from them. They're afraid of them. So they find one of the old Elantrians who survived the change 10 years ago, and he's lost his mind. He's among these other people who have given up, and he just lays on the floor and he mumbles to himself. Well, they were able to kind of like here, eyes here, focus, buddy. And they were able to communicate with him enough that he led them to a place, this lake outside of the city, where they took another secret passage. I love secret passages. They took him out, they laid him in this lake, and he was able to die. It kind of completed the circuit, and it put him right over that edge, and he was able to die, and he dissolved, and he passed on. And Reodin, who he is suffering, he's struggling way more than he should. He's not been in Elantris for very long, only like a month or so. But he's realizing that if he's struggling this much already, he doesn't have much longer. He's not going to be able to manage. And so he sees this lake as, okay, that's my way out. When the time comes, that's where I'll go. That's what I'm going to do. And he's resigned himself rather quickly to his fate, but he's doing what he needs to do as a leader, and he's admirable. He's just not relatable. But anyway, I'm really enjoying this. I'm digging all the little clues and all the little arrows that are pointing to this and pointing to that. And I want to believe that Brandon Sanderson, who's always done this, he's always made sure you have all of the pieces of the puzzle to put it together if you choose. I want to believe that he has done this. But this being his first novel, I have to accept the possibility that he may not have sharpened his knife quite so finely as to do it that well in this. So I'd like to believe that right now we have all the pieces that we need to solve the puzzle. We don't have very many pieces. We have very few pieces. And I'm wondering if maybe there's some piece that I overlooked, something that I missed. But right now, it's like when you take a jigsaw puzzle out of the box and you sort out all the edge pieces. You haven't assembled them yet, but you're looking at them and you're like, I don't think this is enough pieces. I don't think I'm going to be able to connect them all together. I just don't think I got them all out of the box. That's kind of how this feels right now. I don't know, but I am just starting part 2, so I could be very, very wrong. I'm usually wrong. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm wrong. So I'm enjoying it. It's going great. I just can't wait to see what happens next, which is sort of the point of a book. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all to pieces, and I hope to see you in the very next video. So long.